Hey, everybody, it is Steve D here at Xtreme Life. Today on the show, I have legendary striking coach Ray Longo. My opinion, should be a Hall of Famer, probably will be at some point. He's been around the sport a long time. He's a legendary coach. He's trained a lot of incredible athletes such as Matt Serra, Chris Weidman, Aljamain Sterling, Aliaquinta, Marab Dwelishvili. I don't know if I ever say that name right, but I hope I didn't butcher it. Sorry, Marab. There's some up and comers you're going to know that he's training right now. Justin Kid Marvelous Montalvo, Turbo Pumi Nakuda, Nazim Saidakov, just James Gonzalez. I mean, the list goes on and on. Diana Caravas, just incredible lineup of athletes. He's also trained a long time and friend of mine, Jenny Nadell, New York State Intercontinental and Continental, New York State kickboxing champion and Intercontinental champion. Incredible resume. So I'm looking forward to having him on. Let's check it out. We're going to talk about all things MMA and what training looks like. So stay tuned. I'm going to throw it over to Bruce Buffer.
On behalf of your host, Steve D, this is Bruce Buffer saying thank you for tuning in to Xtreme Life. And now, this is the moment Xtreme Life fans around the world have been waiting for. It's time!
All right, there we go. How you doing, man?
Yeah, very good. Good. Busy as shit, man.
Yeah, I can imagine it. And, I can't thank you enough, man. I know how busy you are. And, to take the time to come on the show, I appreciate that. And,
No. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. I really appreciate your persistence and your.
If I'm nothing else, I'm persistent, Ray. You know that. If I have no other qualities, that's one of them. Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
But I'm going to reiterate it again. I should be interviewing you. I want to talk about your life tonight.
Well, we can certainly put that in there. We can certainly talk a little bit about that. Yeah, I'm all for it, man. I'll go anywhere you want to go, Ray. I'm just happy to have it on.
Let me tell you something. Your guitar playing is awesome.
I appreciate it.
And you were in a band as part of your wild journey through this world?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, to go into that a little bit, I started playing when I was really young, just because I really didn't have any friends. So I just kind of started playing guitar and, I guess I just had a natural ability with it and became pretty good. Then I found some of the right teachers. I learned from a guy named David DePietro. I don't know if you know that name, but he played with a band called TT Quick back in the early 80s. And he also trained Zach Wild.
Oh, wow. Him I heard. Yeah. I mean, look, the 70s and 80s for guitar was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
No? Yeah. If you want to learn how to play guitar, you got to go back to the 70s and 80s. I mean, that's it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's where, they call it noodling now, because that's where all the real, the guitar gods, they lived there. That was their time.
Without a doubt. You're never seeing that again, it looks like.
No, I doubt it. And, it like everything, it has its time and its place. And then, it just kind of passes and that's that, and it goes away and something else comes in and takes over. But, I was happy to be, when I came in, it was kind of interesting because I trained, through the 80s. I was young, I was a young guy. And then about 89, I really started playing seriously. And then, I just kind of started getting gigs and ended up going out on the road with a bunch of bands. I was a hired gun for a while.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, I did that. Toured Europe a bunch of times. And I had long hair at the time, Ray. I know it's hard to believe, but at that time I had long hair.
But I'm sure after you started playing the guitar and singing, you had friends too.
Oh yeah. It all kind of came. It all kind of came.
Isn't that crazy how that works?
Yeah. It's people get attracted to things, and that's kind of what happened. It's like, it was kind of a commonality. So I instantly, you can't just play guitar without a band, right? So I kind of figured out a way to have friends. Right? You have a common goal, right? I found a guy who played the drums. I found a guy who played bass, and then
that's great.
And then kind of developed it out from there. And, it took me down my journey for better or worse, whatever that was. I mean, I've had a lot of, I always say, I'm working on a couple things right now to kind of tell the story of a lot of it. But, most of it's kind of like I just fell into things. Right. And then kind of, I guess I had, as you said, I'm persistent. So whatever I set my focus on, I guess generally I want to just be the best that I can be at it. So I become obsessed.
That's the way to do it though, man. I'm glad you're still playing now, because you could have given it up completely. So I still think it's great to keep your mind into it. It's fun. That's great.
No, it definitely is, something. It's an outlet for me. I don't do it professionally anymore, but I definitely, still enjoy picking up the guitar, playing some songs every once in a while. You probably see I throw some stuff up on YouTube or Facebook or all that stuff. And just for my own enjoyment for the most part, not really trying to get anywhere or do anything with it.
Look, it's a form of mindfulness, right?
That's it.
Absolutely. You get to chill out. You need that. You need to decompress and to do something that puts you in a different state. And I think the guitar is perfect for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think everybody, whether it's, whatever type of, whether you're an athlete or a performer of some kind, or you always have to have that kind of, I think you have to have that obsession with it, right? I think that you can't just you could become good at something, but you can't become great. A guy named Father Joseph Martin used to say, good is often the enemy of the great. And what he meant by that was people become satisfied with good, and they never strive to get to great,
Right. Yeah. That's great. That's nice. I like it.
So, that's kind of always been my philosophy. It's always try to be the best you can be, whether you're,
I love it.
Even if you fall a little short, right? What difference?
Doesn't matter. No. You got to have the right, but you're right. You got to have the right attitude.
Yeah.
It's like getting into the fight game. If you're getting into the fight game thinking you can't be a champion,
you won't.
Probably not the best decision. Yeah. Whether
you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Exactly. That's another good one. Yeah, I love it.
Those slogans and things are there for a reason. They're absolutely true. So so let's get into that a little bit. I am so happy. Like I said, you and I have been working on this for probably about a year now.
Could be. Well, we'll blame COVID for. I just blame COVID for everything now. If something happened in the last 2 years, I just blame it to COVID.
Why not? Everybody else is, right?
Right.
That's it. We'll just say.
We couldn't do the show because you wouldn't hear me through my mask, so we waited till now.
Exactly. Yeah. And hey, we'll just go with that, man. I'll run with that because, the thing is, you've trained some incredible athletes, in my opinion, Ray, you should be a Hall of Famer coach because you've been around, the sport forever. You've trained Matt Serra, you trained Chris Weidman, Aljamain Sterling currently.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other people we're going to see coming up. I think we're going to see, you're going to see Justin Kid Montalvo. Montalvo, he's going to do something. There's no doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And of course you trained, one of my favorite people, Jenny Nadell.
One of my favorite people too, man. I tell you, without her, I might not even be here right now. So I owe a lot to her. She keeps me working out every day. I can't thank her enough for that. And she's one of those people that walks the walk, talks the talk, and walks the walk, which is what I like. Yeah, it's not easy to do that today. She's got great character and she's got great conviction in what she believes in. And out of all the people I know, she holds to it, Oh,
yeah. She's definitely one of those people you could tell are genuine, there's a lot of people you kind of like, they say things, but then you feel like they're kind of disingenuous. And she's not that, she's definitely, every time she's ever said anything to me, I felt truly that she absolutely meant it. And she always follows through. So
yeah.
that's what's really cool about her. And you know, she's worked with me a little bit on my striking. I know you saw that. I'm not the best striker in the world at all, but not by a long shot. But you know, she's patient. She tells me, relax. I move too quick. I don't relax enough. Which I hear that a lot for some reason. I hear a lot of people.
You got a lot of strength behind those punches, though. They don't have to be that accurate. You know, and whatever they hit, they're gonna hurt.
Well, you know, hey, hopefully, you know, if I ever needed it, you know, I mean, I'm almost 50, so I think my days of anything like that are kind of behind me. But you know, hey, it's definitely, you know, like I said, I enjoy trainings. I mean, you got killers in there. I mean, straight up killers, multiple champions walking around sometimes, and it's like, you know, it's like it could be a little bit intimidating, right? Yeah. We try to keep a good environment in there, and you know, not, you know, let people run away with their egos too much. And I mean, even Aljo teaching the class tonight, he's just a great guy. He gives back, loves teaching. And I think people really appreciate what he does, too, because he brings a lot of knowledge to the table. Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's been around the game for quite a while now, too, you know, so it's like, you know, I think there's just a wealth of knowledge and wisdom in that gym in general. And just the feel you get when you walk in there is just different. You know, it's different than other gyms, you know, because you're like, you can feel the power of the greatness that has been through that gym, I think. And, you know, so getting into that, I mean, I guess, you know, I told you a little bit about me. Now I'm going to ask a little bit about you. What got you going in this? I mean, what made you, I know you've been around a long time in this sport. I hope I'm not making you feel old saying that.
No. You don't. Hey, trust me, Steve. You don't have to make me feel old. I am old. I get it. That's not it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it except embrace it. But
live with it, man. Yeah. So, but
now, how I got into just martial arts in general, or
I mean, I guess what got you into that, and then, you know, tell me a bit about your journey in the beginning and how it kind of got you to you know, open up the gym and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm going to be 64 in a couple of months. So I've been around like forever. So, I mean, I started training in the 70s, and I think I always was playing sports with older guys in the neighborhood, and they would tell me of this little guy who was just a badass, and, you know, he's flipping people. And I was just fascinated by that because I knew who they were talking about. And I was like, wow, I find that hard to believe. And then I ended up training with the guy, and he was a complete beast, maybe 5'6". But back then it was, you know, definitely, you know, it was different, Steve, too. Even if a guy opened up a martial arts school, they'd white out the window so you couldn't even see in. So how good is that for business? You know what I mean? So places would come and go because it was never looked upon as a thing to make money. But anyway, so I got into it. I got the bug as a kid. And then, I don't know, fast forward to 93, maybe even before that, when one of my instructors called up from California. He said, there's a guy coming into New York, Craig Kukak. He's going to be teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He says, you got to get in there. It's brand new. Nobody even knows what it is yet. But he's like, you're going to be so far ahead of everybody in the year. And this is before the UFC. So he comes to New York. And I would go in there on Saturdays. There'd be 3 people, Steve, believe it or not, in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. And the guy was almost getting frustrated. He was like, man, can you make money? I had a school at the time. He goes, can you make money with this? And I felt so bad for the guy who was bringing my students down just so he had a couple of people. Yeah. And then I dislocated my shoulder sparring, and I was out for 2 or 3 months. In that time, the UFC started. So by the time I went back to that jiu-jitsu school, it went from 3 people to 30 people in the morning, 30 people at 9 and another 30 at 10, just went out of control. And that's where I kind of met Matt. I met him once before that.
Yeah.
And then I had just bought a house by him, so I started driving in with him. So we got friendly. He was a complete beast on the mats at that time, just unstoppable.
He's still probably a beast on the mats.
Yeah. But back then it was he didn't even have a chance. He was that good. They just put the time in. It was new, but his father was a martial artist. He had 2 brothers that were into martial arts, so he had people to rep a lot of stuff with.
Yeah.
And then kind of when the UFC hit, I was already promoting fights, and I had a couple of kickboxing champions and stuff. So I think I was in the right spot at the right place. I kind of became the go-to guy. And then I just started really getting into it and saying, I love the weapons and all of that stuff, I love Kali, but I kind of had to give it a back. Yeah, I had a guy to give it a back seat. And I said, let me just focus on being a trainer. So, I just had to, be around as many good people as I had, some great instructors. And I just took it from there, really. And then that was it. Matt started fighting. He got in the UFC, and we just started. Yeah, that's it. It's a really weird look. Steve, I got to tell you, the other thing is I don't really get a chance to even sit and do this like what I'm doing with you. So,
for you once in a while to sit here and kind of go back and say, how the hell did I get
how the hell? Because I'll tell you, if you get a chance, look at Year of the Fighter with Matt Serra. It's crazy. It's on how he got cut from the UFC, went on the show. The whole story that happened. Him beating GSP. But even when we were looking at it, we were like, holy shit, man. That's how long? That's like 15, 16, maybe more years ago.
Yeah.
It's just, it was crazy. That, right? It's a really great story. And then it was good for me to sit back and look at the interviews and stuff. And I don't know. I just have a great time with it. Thank God I was good at it. Thank God I got surrounded by great athletes that let me come on their journey with them, and that was it, man. I'm glad I think I made a dent a little bit. I don't, in the
right. Come on, man.
So,
You're being
even with even with everything, busting balls and training fighters, I don't really want to take it that serious. I don't want to be totally defined by that because I have a good time doing a lot of things, but it's just happened. I think I was in the right place at the right time, and again, I got to work with some great athletes, and I don't know. It just was looking back, it really was crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, sometimes, you look at what makes this stuff happen. It's kind of like, and sitting back and reflecting back, you must be saying, it's just the right ingredients at the right time. The right things were in place at the right time. I was the right person to take to recognize it and move.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Because you said something at the beginning too, like, so before, when I came out of St. John's, I was an accountant for 6 or 7 years. But what you said, and this is really what got me out of accounting, I knew I was never going to be the best accountant. I mean, there's guys that talk about accounting like me and you will talk about a fight. Like it was almost like, wow, I could never be great in accounting. It was never going to happen. I got to get the hell out of here because there were so many smart people. I was like, this is, and they love it. I mean,
it takes a certain type of personality, I think, to be an accountant. It's like that. You got to want to be kind of alone.
And there's guys that, Steve, there's guys that really, my brother's a CPA. He freaking loves it. So I'm glad I made the right choice. I was doing martial arts since I was 13 years old, and it just, everything kind of fell into place for me. And, I never really, I'd get done with one fight, you're moving on to the next fight. You know what I mean? I remember they asked me they interviewed me after Weidman beat Anderson Silva. And what are you going to do? I go, I got to get home. I got Al fighting in 2 weeks, and that's kind of it. You never get a chance to sit and dwell or look at the accomplishments and take them in for more than a week. You know what I mean? Then you just move into the next one. And, I view everybody as equal, whether they're a champ or not. So at the time I tried to, dedicate as much time as I could. Now I'm slowing down a little bit. So I'm picking and choosing spots a little differently. But back then it was just rolling right into one thing into another nonstop.
Well, and you're pretty much, I mean, I see it like you're everywhere, Ray. I mean, it's like, I don't know how the heck you do it. I'm like, where the hell does he get the energy? Because, I don't know. You're like flying to one place, the next place. I know, you were in Connecticut with Justin like a couple weeks ago while Matt was at Ring of Combat, where I could only go to one that week. So I was like, all right, I got to go to Ring of, it's right here. So I went to Ring of Combat, and it was like, I guess you got to split it up somehow because you can't be in two places at once, and you're trying to, and that's got to be incredible pressure to try to support everybody.
It's getting, that part's getting rough now because I don't have I don't think I have the capabilities of doing it, but I'm still trying. It's I'm going to Miami this week because Dylan Montello's got a fight in Khabib's show.
Okay.
That is a really big fight for him. So it's nonstop. Then they get back, it's Texas. Then Aljo's fighting, with Peter Young. It's crazy, just crazy. But very fortunate to be doing it. Like, well, even if I'm bitching about it, I'm happy. You know what I mean? It's just,
you could be crunching numbers, man.
yeah. That could be. Oh, and those crunching number days, you are crunching every month. You're crunching it.
Well,
that's a lot of pressure too.
Especially now, they're all working like 20-hour days right now. Because it's tax season. So, but,
that's right. You got
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, as much as it is, it's still, I got to say, I do it every once in a while with certain situations I'm in. I'm like, I got to just pinch myself to make sure that this is like real. This is going on. This is my life.
That's great though. Listen, we're lucky we're doing what we love to do. Right. That's really the bottom line. So.
And you know what? You grind sometimes and you're just like, okay, you grind through the stuff you don't want to do and you just grind through it to get to the things you want to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I view it, and I look at it like this. There's two ways you can be in life. You could be a participant or you could be an observer. Which one do you want to be?
Yeah.
You want
I was never good as an observer.
No, you can sit there and watch it go by and watch everybody else have things and get successful, or you could go out and participate.
Yeah.
And get motivated.
Exactly.
So what is, like, over the years, what are the biggest, if you can, think of it off the top of your head, like some of the biggest changes you've seen in the fight game, over the years you've been in it? I mean, I know probably one of them is, you can't be that one-dimensional fighter anymore. I mean,
without it, that's the biggest thing. You went from, the concept at the beginning was which martial art is better. Mm-hmm. And I think that brought out a lot of limitations, right, in the martial arts. And then, it just, then the wrestlers became very dominant. Then the strikers that could defend takedowns became dominant. It was always like an arms race. Who was going to figure out the next step? But we're approaching something now where people are starting to train MMA since they're 10 years old. It's not just one discipline.
Yep.
So, I think that's the biggest thing, is that there's access to the information for all the arts that you kind of need, like, boxing, Thai boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Back then, you couldn't, there might not have been jiu-jitsu in New York. You might have had one or two guys, and that is 20. And the same thing with, like, the Thai boxing and boxing we were always big on in the States.
Yep.
And wrestling, but a lot of those wrestling guys hadn't picked up on it yet. And now you see a lot of, as usual, dominant wrestlers. Even back in the day, the Mark Kerrs, the Colemans, those guys were killing people, until they figured they had no stand-up, though. So until you got another big guy who could defend the takedown, they would get tired and they would beat them standing up. So that's always just the progression. It's just the progression in how everybody's fighting. Almost like you say, you definitely can't be one-dimensional, but we still see guys today that have a great one dimension.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That are making shit work, right? They don't even throw a kick. They do. Look at Justin. He could definitely defend takedowns, and he could kick, and he could do jiu-jitsu, but he's just keeping it to the boxing because nobody's really pushing. Yeah, it's working for him. Yeah. So you're still seeing it, but it's not, he's not just a boxer. I think that's the thing. Like, he's not Art Jimison, who has no idea of what happens if it hits the floor. He could do it all. He's just picking and choosing what he wants to do. Similar to like the Diaz brothers.
Yeah. They, like, it sounds like he hasn't really had to go there yet, right? So
right.
That I think is the scariest thing, though, about somebody like Justin, right? Is because he has not had to use all those tools yet, and he has them. People may not even know he has those tools in his arsenal.
Right. They're looking at him now as just a striker.
Yeah. Someone's going to come in and try to take him down, and they're going to get him to the ground. Then they're going to realize they're in trouble there too.
Right. Yeah. and he's going to be hard to, I think he's going to be very hard to hold down. And then the question is, how much energy do I expend? And if you do expend the energy and he gets back up, he's not just throwing one punch. He's throwing 15 and 20 punches at you. So he's a problem. He loves fighting. He enjoys it. And he's got what he's doing. He's got down very good.
Yeah. And that's, and I've seen him do some great shit. And he's basically, I think 5-0 right now.
5-0 with 4 knockouts. Yeah.
A professional record. And the last one was a first round knockout. So, I mean, he's definitely getting noticed.
No, without a doubt. Yeah. The Bellator gave him a developmental contract, which was pretty cool.
All right.
So he's got his next 4 fights in Bellator, and then we'll see where he wants to head.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. And then you got Pumi Kuda, who,
Pumi's another animal.
Yeah, I mean, these guys they're coming up, and people don't know them yet, but I think they're going to.
Yeah, this is the year, though, I think.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be a couple of guys on the Contender Series, and we'll see where it takes them. It's the big leagues, though, so they're the Marabs, the Aljos, the Frivolas, the Weidmans, and they got big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, and that's where you really kind of test the metal, right? You see where you're at. You come out of the minors and go into the majors. So
without a doubt,
I guess that's for a better way of putting it. But so what do you see when you look at a fighter? Let's say somebody comes walking in the gym, right? And you say, okay, well, and you're kind of just checking them out. What do you look for in a fighter that kind of, is there a way you can kind of say, okay, this guy's got something, or maybe.
First off, do they have a pedigree?
Yeah.
Did you wrestle in high school and college? Did you box in the Golden Gloves? Did you do any glory kickboxing? Are you a jiu-jitsu champ? Are you killing it on the circuit? So once they have, if they have a pedigree in one of those areas, I try to build a game around whatever pedigree they have. Oh boy, Lucky, are you kidding? Holy crap, this is going to be bad. I'm going to have to throw her out. But
sorry,
what was I going to say? But you know what I mean. So then I start. So if you're a boxer, right away I'm going to have you working on takedown defense, so you could keep the fight where you want to, where you got most advantages of, right? Yeah. And the same thing with the wrestlers, we get them doing the striking right away. So I kind of look for that, and I try to treat everybody differently.
Sounds like your dog wants to get on the show.
Lucky, you're out of your mind, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's it. So I guess, what you're saying is you take somebody who, if they have a pedigree, if they come in with that, if they come in with nothing, I don't know where you start from there. You got to kind of go from the ground, I guess. Build.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But today I'm telling you, it's can you stop? Oh my God. Yo, somebody get the dog out of here.
Are you at the gym right now? Or are you?
No, I actually came home. I left the gym to come home. I should have stayed at the gym. I'd be better off. But yeah, everybody's coming in with something. It's rare.
Yeah.
Not that they're coming in with something, but they're going to gravitate towards something. Like Justin did a lot of boxing and kickboxing before he even started with the MMA. Yeah. In the school. So, it's almost like, Jenny's a kickboxer.
Yep.
Come on, baby.
So we always were big on the kickboxing.
Be nice. That's a good. Stop it.
Oh.
Stop it, Lucky. Be nice. I'm sorry. Be nice.
Dragging around by your head.
Hey, you know what? It's a podcast, bro.
You know what it is? I'll tell you, Steve, out of nowhere, like the last 2 weeks, she sat here with me 100 times.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks back, I had to throw her out on the Anik podcast too. I don't know. She starts crying about, she wants the attention. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Are you still doing the show with TJ DeSantis on Fight?
I haven't done that in a while.
Oh,
every so often. Supposed to be in the future. Something's supposed to be happening, but we're waiting to see what goes on. But yeah.
Yeah, I've had TJ on a couple times too. He's a good guy.
Oh, he's a great guy, right? You like TJ?
Oh yeah. I've had him, and I've had I don't know if you know Ray Flores. I've had him on. I've had a lot of the announcers and stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's fun to have them on because they see a different perspective, right? They come on.
Right.
I try to not just have the fighters on. I like the coaches. I like even the promoters. I want to have people on with every perspective of the fight game because it just gives a bigger picture. Then you just get that one dimensional,
Nice.
I like, kind of like you can't be a one-dimensional fighter. I don't think you could be a one-dimensional podcaster.
Yeah.
You got to kind of mix it up a bit.
Look, it's great to get some of their perspectives too, because like I know, like a guy like Bruce Buffer, he's very opinionated on what's going on.
I've had him on a couple times.
Oh, have you had him on?
Yeah,
he loves
he'll come on anytime I ask it, which is great.
That's great.
And as busy
I've been doing his podcast a lot lately.
Have you? Oh.
Yeah.
Well, when you see him, tell him Steve says hi, because
I definitely will.
They're great people. They're just all good people. And
they're
fun to talk to.
And they love it. They love what they're doing too.
Oh yeah, and you can tell when people love it. You can tell when they, when their heart's in it. So it's definitely, definitely something they love doing. And I love talking to people too. So I'm a talker, in case you haven't noticed.
No, that's good, man. That's good. That's funny.
But so are there, I guess one thing I wanted to ask you is, and I want to be respectful of your time too. I know.
Yeah.
Probably got to go soon, but how about some most memorable moments through the years that you've had in the game?
Yeah, I mean, obvious. Let's go through the obvious. All the, GSP, Matt.
Yeah,
Weidman,
that had to be a huge one.
that was at the time was crazy.
Yeah.
It almost
they didn't expect Matt to win that fight.
No, the biggest underdog in UFC history. I mean, not even. These are all old stories, but Diego Sanchez fought Koscheck on that card. Yeah. And he had a mariachi band. And as we were walking out, the mariachi band was playing the theme song to Mission Impossible. I swear to God. I mean, how bad is that?
That's
we're walking past Diego's dressing room and those bastards are playing in mariachi form, Mission Impossible. Like, how they would even know that is crazy.
They set that up, brother. Sounds like a setup. Whoop, you there? Hey, you're back.
Let me tell you. So this is why you should never have me on. This is like normal. It's freaking horrible.
You know what? I love it, man. It's great. It's awesome.
My dog's barking, screaming. I'm getting lost.
Let me tell you something. The shit that happens on this show sometimes it's a podcast, man. It's all good, man. The less polished it is, the better.
Then you're hitting a home run on this one.
It's all right, man.
It gets any more unpolished than this will be flat black.
It's all good. It's all good, brother. It is all good. But yeah, we were talking about Matt beating GSP and
so then I inducted Matt into the Hall of Fame was another great moment. I thought Khabib and Al was a great moment. Obviously, Aljo fighting Petey Yan and just watching his growth going up there. They're all good.
Yeah,
it was all the guys really. There's so many things you could pick and choose from, but I like inducting Matt into the Hall of Fame. I thought it was huge. I was really happy to do that.
Yeah, that's a moment definitely in time.
Yeah, it's a little different too. So has nothing to do really technically with being at a fight.
No.
And then just all those things associated, man. There was a lot, going out to some of the benefits after Matt won. We had a good. I got no complaints, man. We had a great time. We're still having a great time, which is good.
How do you guys work together? I mean, because I know Matt, you guys, Team Serra-Longo, like I said, nothing but killers on that team. But, how would you describe your working relationship with Matt?
Like again, I know the guy so long that, he handles the jiu-jitsu at his school. I handle the striking, and then like tomorrow, Aljo sparring at 12. He comes down. We'll watch the sparring and, take it from there.
Okay. All right. So
nothing crazy. I mean, he's got it's pretty organized now. The times they do jiu-jitsu, most of the fighters over there.
Yeah.
And the sparring and, the MMA classes and everything else over in my place. So it seems it's been working. So.
Well, you got a system. It sounds like you got a system.
Yeah. Not totally set in place, but that's a rough draft of it. Yeah.
Well, hey, man, like we talked about earlier, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. If it's working for you, exactly. The boxing's working, don't change it. Keep doing it.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm excited for him because, again, he kicks pretty freaking good, too. I don't know if he'll ever throw a kick, but.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't want to be.
I worked with him the other day. He kicks good. He's he's a very good kicker.
Well, I wouldn't want to be hit by it if he throws it, because he's, So what are some fights you'd like to, I mean, are there any fights you think you would like to see? I mean, I know we got, some stuff coming up. We have Covington Masvidal, which is one I've been wanting to see for a long time. I want to see.
Oh, I want to see, I want to see this. I definitely want to see Makhachev against Oliveira.
Okay.
Or I'd love to even see him fight like a Michael Chandler, another good wrestler. I think would be a great matchup.
Yeah.
I like to see. I'd like this other kid Chimaev. I think is phenomenal. I'd like to see him get some high profile fights. I think those would
be some good ones coming up. Yeah.
They got some good fights with those guys. The Russian guys or the Dagestani guys, just very dominant.
Oh, those guys, I don't know what the hell they're feeding them. They're wrestling bears at like 10 years old and shit, man.
It's just going on. Steve, I swear to God, I think it's an attitude, man. Yeah. I don't think you're outworking those guys. They don't come from much. I know, like Marab, he's just grateful for everything over here. So he's got a great work ethic. Mm-hmm. And what there's an old saying, hard work beats talent when talent refuses to work hard.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And these guys are grinding it out. Marab's a grind. Like, he's going to be a hard guy to outwork. Right. And I think
you just got to get lucky with a shot somewhere. And
without a doubt.
That's the only way you're going to beat him, because I don't.
You got to kill him for sure. Yeah. And I think like Makhachev, they have the same type of mentality. They're just. They want to be in there, and they're good at what they do. Yeah.
So any predictions on, since I brought up Covington Masvidal, what do you think is going to happen in that fight?
You know what I think the bet is? The bet is, do they hug each other after the fight?
I don't think so.
Imagine if they're putting us on. Imagine if they're putting us on and they're just getting it for a payday and they're laughing afterwards.
Oh, it could. I wouldn't say it can't happen. I mean, but I don't know. I think their dispute goes all the way back to ATT or when they were both there, and I think that just has never resolved, and it's grown actually, and they don't like each other. But hey, we'll see. Hey, my hope is, they have a great fight, they tear it up, and they get all this out. And at the end, I mean, I love it when that happens, when, there's the fighters at the end of the fight, it's like, because it is a sport. At the end of the day, you're not really trying to kill somebody, Right. At the end of the day, it's a sport. The grudge matches make great hype and everything around it. But at the end of the day, hey, it'd be great if at the end they kind of throw up a hug and say, all right, man, good fight. It's all over.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I'm leaning towards Covington. I never really bet against Masvidal, but I think he's got a taste of the good life. Yeah. Well, the other guys, he's got a chip on his shoulder. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I think
who said it that what was it? Oh God, it's hard to get up and do road work at 5 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk sheets.
Yeah, that was Marvin Hagler.
Marvin Hagler. Yeah. So there's some accuracy to that. And
I think there's a lot of accuracy towards that. Yeah, these sayings, they don't just make them up for no reason. They've witnessed something and they come from, right? It's from experience. But I think the wrestling will dictate where this fight goes. And Covington seems to have a great gas tank. He could do it over and over again. He's not afraid to go for it. So
I think he's probably got one of the best engines in the game.
I think so. For what he does, that's a grinding style.
He just does not stop, and he doesn't slow down. He comes in at the same pace throughout the whole fight and just does not dial it back. Yeah, so we got to see. I think that's been Jorge's Achilles heel, and we'll see if he could get past. He knows how that fight's going. They've worked with each other for years, so somebody knows exactly what's going to happen in that fight. Oh yeah, and I definitely don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be quick. I don't see it be quick. I think this is going to be a grinder. No, if it's quick, Masvidal will be the winner. Yeah. In a quick, like first round, Masvidal. Everything after that, probably Covington. I agree with that. I think that's pretty safe.
I wonder what the over-under is on that fight.
I have no idea. The last time I paid attention to that, I got my ass handed to me because I didn't bet, but I made a lot of comments that, I said Pena has no chance of beating Amanda Nunes. People got pissed off at me for that one.
I say, this is a sport where you could never say never.
Yeah. No,
we've seen it too many times, but you didn't look. What you said wasn't out of place.
Everybody else was saying the same damn thing.
Yeah, Nunes was dominant as hell as a champion.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be a good rematch. I don't think it's going to be easy for Amanda either.
No, I don't think so. That's another one, though. I think if it's quick, it's going to be Amanda. If it's over in the first round, it's going to be Amanda. If it goes longer, the longer that fight goes, I think the less chance she has of beating Pena.
Yeah. Again, cardio was always her Achilles heel, I think, and that's what she's got to empty the gas tank in this fight.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think so. I think she's got to put it all out on the floor. I think she's, that might be another one of those, silk sheet comments, she's been the champ for a while. She's kind of been untouchable and nobody's been able to beat her. And sometimes
she's been dominant against really good people. So,
there's definitely she did not hold back. She took on all comers. Before that fight, the fight I really wanted to see was her versus Valentina again. I wanted to see that run back for the third time, just kind of see where they're at now, because they both have been in the game for a lot longer. And, and I think Valentina right now is untouchable in her division.
Yeah, she's, I don't know. I'm with you 100%. Yeah, that one becomes, that's always going to be whoever wins, the other person thinks they won too. That's how close those fights are, right? That's always going to be that. And, the fact that, Valentina would have to move up in weight.
Yeah, they'd have to meet in the middle. I mean, that's what would have to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening. I think Nunes struggles to make 35. So
yeah. So
that's crazy.
We'll see. It's a crazy world out there right now with this, man. And you got Aljamain and Jan coming back up. So I'm excited for that fight. I think that's going to be an incredible fight.
Yeah, right now I'll tell you, Aljo's head, he's in a great spot.
Good. I'm glad to hear
he is crushing his workouts, and more importantly, mentally, he's in a totally different headspace than he was for the last fight. So that's a plus.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm really excited. I'm more excited about that fight than I am Korean Zombie and damn it, I can't think of the name, but
Volkanovski. Yeah,
Volkanovski. Yeah, I'm actually more excited for the Aljamain and Peter Yan.
I think there's more buildup because of the first fight.
Yeah.
And,
and what happened? I mean, it was like just a really, the whole thing was kind of really screwed up.
Yeah. That was a fucking, that was a nightmare. that was a moment that wasn't one of the better moments, but
no, it's not how you want it. I know that's not how Aljo wanted to win it. And I know, you know what I mean? And it's like, all right, so run it back now. Let's get in there and run it back and show the world that you're the champ, man. Show the world.
That's it, period. This is his chance to shut everybody up.
Yeah, no more talking. Just go in there and do the business and get it done and show people, hey, all the naysayers out there, you know what? Now I did it. Now you can't. The way this war's looking, Aljo's going to have the rest of the world on his side. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I'm sure about that, man. Yeah, definitely.
That knee's starting to look pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Intentional.
Yeah, it looked pretty funky at that time too. It looked like it was something.
It was one Mississippi.
You couldn't do that.
Yeah,
you've been in the game a long time. And
the fact you were winning the fight standing up. Let the guy stand up. Like what?
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah,
that was a big mistake. Huge.
Yeah,
and he did pay dearly for it, but. Yeah, it's going to make for a great rematch. I'll tell you.
Well, there's some stuff there, so the story makes the rematch sometimes, man. There's a story here, So and I can't even imagine what it was like, after that whole thing happened, and just being backstage or back in the dressing room and just being like, what the fuck just happened?
Horrible. No, that was horrible. Yeah, and and you're concerned for making sure Aljo's all right too. Which
Yeah.
You know,
he took that was a hard knee, man. I watched.
I don't give a shit. I don't. I mean, the fact that he caught so much backlash for that is incredible. The guy put his head up on a platter and just kneed it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Even why would I even want him to continue after that? You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's fucking dangerous.
Because now you just threw a knee at a downed opponent.
Yeah.
And that's, and I mean, that's the thing. If you're a fighter, if this was some rookie, I would say, okay, maybe they screwed up. They didn't realize it. But this was not some
Steve,
rookie.
even if it's in the heat of the battle, right? But there was no heat. There was 10 seconds before he threw it, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it was definitely, I got to go back before the fight. I'm going to rewatch that. It's painful to watch, but I'll definitely watch it, because I like to rewatch fights especially when there's rematches coming up. I watch the previous fights again just to get my head
without a doubt,
back around it and then check it out. But I may be coming down to Florida for that fight, so
nice.
I
think that's going to be a great weekend.
Oh yeah. I'm looking for. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go shark diving for the week and then come to the fight. So that's the plan.
I'm talking about. Look at this guy shark diving.
We're going to go out. I'm sure you've seen some of my videos out there with the shark.
He does it all.
I try. Hey man, I live life, man. Live life, brother.
You are 100% living life.
You got to do it. I lean into everything that terrifies me. That's what it.
Yeah. Wow, that's good.
So I think that's just, either that'll be my undoing or it'll make for a great story someday.
Whatever you do, don't do. Who was the guy from Australia that?
Oh, Steve Irwin.
Yeah, don't do an Irwin on us. Whatever you do.
I'll tell you a quick funny story, and then I know you got to go, so I'll let you roll. But I did an interview with a magazine. I did Daily Mail. I did an interview with, and then I started getting a bunch of calls because I do a lot of shark diving. I take people out on trips every year, and
oh wow, nice.
I hand feed. I'll send you some videos if you want to see some cool.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I hand feed. We hand feed tiger sharks, bull sharks, all that stuff, and The interesting thing is I made a comment in this other magazine. It was some travel magazine from Europe, and I should have known it was going to be a hack job when they what the hell they say to me? They said, do you hate Steven Spielberg because he made the movie Jaws and that causes people to have anxiety about sharks? And I said, no, I don't hate Steven Spielberg any more than I hate the guy who created Friday the 13th, like I said, it's a movie, it's a movie. Yeah. So I made a comment that was, I called sharks cute water puppies and they used that as the headline. And people lost their friggin' minds. I mean, they went,
really?
The comment section was like, you're going to die. You're, all this crap, like wishing death on me. It was like crazy, man. I was like, I didn't even say anything bad. All I said was they're cute water puppies. And they're like,
now were you, is that the equivalent, like as you to the sharks, as that guy that did the documentary on him and the bears that time? Did you ever see that documentary about the guy that?
Oh, no. I'm not that guy. Definitely not that guy.
That guy was, because by Steve, by the end of that thing, I wanted the bears to kill that guy. I couldn't take it no more.
No, that's definitely not me. If you see what I do,
I just want to make sure you don't torture the sharks so bad they come after you.
No, I don't torture sharks at all. Actually, we feed them. So it's kind of it's interesting. And I'll tell you this, on my last trip this year, I had 2 psychiatrists come with us who wanted to come from a healthcare organization that's in this state. Because I book every January, I go out for about a week and a half out to Tiger Beach, and I take a liveaboard, an 86-foot liveaboard, and we go dive 4 times a day with sharks doing live feeds with no cages, wow. no nets, no nothing, just the bait and us. And these 2 psychiatrists had the best time of their lives. I mean, people have a great time with us. We go out and we show them a side of sharks that they never thought were probably there.
And what got you into that?
Oh, that's a whole other show.
I mean, you either grew up like that. That didn't come out of nowhere.
No, I grew up in the water. I mean, I became fascinated with sharks. I think, the first time my father took me to, I lived in California when I was young, and my father took me to a place where the ocean goes way out when the low tide comes in. And there was all these tidal pools. And I remember seeing these sharks just swimming around in these tidal pools. And I became fascinated. And then
wow.
spin forward several years down the road. after a whole bunch of other shit. I started doing more diving, and then just, somebody had turned me on to it, said, hey, you want to go dive with sharks? And it turns out, it was interesting. A guy named Glenn Hodges from National Geographic was on the trip. And we basically, he wrote a great article about the trip and everything. We just had a great time. And I started doing it, and, been doing it for probably the last 15 years.
Man, that's wild.
Yeah. I go down to Florida. I do bull sharks off the coast of Florida, place called the Deep Ledge. We dive down to about 90 feet. And feed, bull sharks, lemon sharks, reef sharks. I mean, any sharks that come up pretty much. Sometimes there's a tiger out there, and we go to Tiger Beach. We do the tiger sharks every January. And then, white sharks out in Guadalupe when we get a chance. So,
wow, it's crazy.
So yeah, I'll send you some stuff. You'll get a kick out of it.
That's wild, man. I love those. Anything with nature and animals. I love those videos.
Oh yeah. I love it. Like I said, it's part, everything becomes a part of who you are. And that's kind of like, that's one of those things. You either try it once and you don't like it, and you get away from it, or you try it and you fall in love with it. And you just, those 2 psychiatrists are coming next year already. They already said,
wow,
I want to be on the trip next year. So we're already, and I book up fast. So it's like I got 12 spots on that boat, and they book up real quick. So
that's awesome, man. That's actually phenomenal, man. Man of many talents. I love it.
I'm just somebody who likes to do stuff. That's all.
Yeah, that's great.
And I don't relax well, Ray. I don't relax well.
No, that's it. Though. You got to keep moving. You're a type A type of guy. I
don't sit still that well, and I think you're pretty much the same way, I guess.
No, I'm sitting still way more than you. I just found my niche with the fighting, and I love it. But I got to branch out. I got to do more things.
Well, you come shark diving, man. You want to go diving?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll take you.
I just feel like I'll be the chum for the sharks. That's the problem.
I've never had anybody get bit yet, but I already said to Jenny, I said, Jenny, you should come out diving. Maybe that's your next thing. She's like, no, not me.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ray, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on, man. This has been an awesome interview. I really enjoyed it. I always enjoy talking to you whenever I see you.
We'll do it again, man. I apologize for how long this thing took, but I'm glad. See, once we put the right people in place, you get Jenny to remind me, I'm good to go.
Now I know the key. Now I know
a lot of help.
Yeah, now I know the key to get in. I know the key. I was like, Jenny's like, I'll stay on them. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no. She had to text me at 8:00 to remind me.
I'll send her a thank you. But
definitely.
Now, like I said, I'm glad we finally got it to happen. And definitely, would love to have you on again. And
anytime, man. Now that we made the first connection, I'm good to go.
All right, brother.
All right, Steve, take it easy, buddy. Thank you very much.
You got it, my friend. Have a good night.
All right, you too.